Next thing is, it's going to have you clean the flushing box, which is right next to that. So, go ahead and hit the space bar. And now the flushing box is this, right here. So, you may want to get a new one when you do this.
Right.
So you're going to want to have some of these on hand. And you just clean that. That's your flushing box.
What is the one on the right called?
But make sure that's the one is the flushing box, and the one on the right is the I forget what they call it. Look. I'm a blank here.
Oh, the head cap seal.
Head cap seal. So it's the head cap,
Yeah.
and then the other one's the flushing box. So you're going to want to definitely moisten a new one when you do this. You're not going to want to use the old one again, because you want to actually get some of that fluid down in there when you're cleaning the top of that flushing box, okay? We're just doing it to save your things for today, because it doesn't need to be done. And we're actually not going to do the fluid parts either, just to save your fluid. So the next one then, after they have you do that, is they're going to actually have you fill the syringe. So it just shows you cleaning it really good. Okay, so now that syringe that's there, you're going to fill it up with cleaning fluid. And they show you putting that over the head cap. So you see how, did you see it or no? So you're going to fill it, and then you're just going to drip that into that head cap. And that's the one that's furthest that way. Depends which way you're facing the machine. So you see how they're just dripping it in there? That cleaning fluid's going to take care of anything that started to dry and clog up in there, and that'll clean it out. Then they're going to have you do the same thing with the flushing box. Okay, so you're going to take another syringe full and do that. This is done once a month. Very important. I got to tell you, I have people that have these machines for 5-6 years that they hammer these things. I mean, they're running hundreds of plates a week, and their machines are still running because they do this maintenance. So very important to do the maintenance. And like I said, this is once a month. So then the last step there was they took another syringe and they took the oil and they went around that rubber seal that was over the cap there, okay? So all you're going to do is put that on, and that just helps moisten so it doesn't dry out, so it makes a better seal. You're doing this once a month, that's it. And then basically you'll put this head back on. This will run back itself, or you can run it back yourself. It will, when you turn the power on, it will go back on its own. But then this head you need to put back on, so go ahead and do that.
We don't have to do it now?
What, the actual fluid?
Well,
No, I don't want to waste your fluid.
We
Yeah.
barely used it.
It doesn't
so-
need done, yeah.
Since it's only once a month anyway, it's like
Yeah.
it just started. So. Slowly complicated.
And you'll see at the front that it's set. Yep, you got it. And if you don't, it'll give you a message. So
Oh, okay, so that's good. Alright.
So go ahead and power it back up. So the printer you're going to leave on all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay? You're only going to have this on whenever you have gum in the container
Okay.
underneath.
I see. Oh, even if we don't use it, like
Leave it on.
leave it on.
That'll keep the heads from getting clogged, because it'll do a routine check from time to time and keep itself clear.
So what do we turn off then from?
The only thing you're going to turn off is
that?
the lower unit after you clean it with warm water, remember?
Oh, so the top stays on
That
always.
stays on 24 hours a day.
Oh, okay. I
7
wasn't
days
sure
a
about
week.
the weekly thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll write that
Even
down.
if we don't use it at all, like
Even if you
some
don't use it.
summer, yeah.
Yep.
But you know, the thing is, sometimes this building has no power, and
Yeah.
turn it off.
Yeah,
They
if that's the case,
Yeah. Then what?
you could have a UPS. I mean, does it go powered off for like more than an hour or so, or you mean?
I mean, it could be just one time, but
Like
then
off
there's
and on.
nobody here, and
Yeah.
you know it could be turned
A
off.
UPS would take care of that, an uninterruptible power supply. You can get those at like your IT people could get you one. It's basically it'll plug in.
UPS?
The computer
Yeah.
would plug in, which it really doesn't matter if that's being shut down anyhow. But the printer, it would be a good idea to have that on one then.
Oh really?
Yeah, and now the other thing is if you ever come in, just always make sure it's on. So
Yeah.
maybe if you had a power outage or something like that for now, because you don't have it on a UPS,
Yeah.
just come in and take a look at the display, and if it's off, just hit the power button.
Yeah.
And make sure
That's
it's
what
back
I
on.
do with others, but this one is
Yeah, if you
way
get
too precious.
if you get a UPS,
Yeah.
that gives you like a half an hour. So like if the power just went off like a blip and back on, which that happens at places at
Yeah.
times, that would take care of that. It won't shut
Oh, wait,
off.
so so power is off and on. It's gonna be on.
If you
after?
have a UPS hooked up, because what that does, that's a battery backup unit, and it just
Yeah.
plugs in the wall and it sits there on the floor. And then if power goes out, you'll hear it starting to beep, and it'll beep until the power comes back on. But now if it goes longer than what the battery's
Yeah,
capable of holding,
right.
then it would still be off. But
It's
that would take
manually
care of those
usually on,
interruptions
yeah.
that are quick.
Okay, I
Mhm.
see.
So it won't take care of interruptions as in.
After a half an hour.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
so if
Alright.
they did like, because sometimes throughout the campus,
UPS?
they'll do like, this building is being shut off for a day.
A day.
It could be.
Well,
It
in
has
those
to-
cases, then there's nothing we can do about it. I
Okay,
mean,
so
at
we just
that
have to come
point,
back later
you
once
just
it's on and
you just have to
make
make sure it's turned back on.
Right, right, right.
Just
That-
keep in
that's
mind
it.
it's best to leave it on all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it happens all the time here.
Okay. So now,
Very.
remember once a week we're going to do the cleaning on the processor, right? So I'm going to show you here. I think I have a document, and these PDFs are on your system as well. I think yeah. This is running you guys would be welcome to make copies of this too if you wanted, but you do
But
have
it's
the
on the
PDFs.
thing. That's okay.
But if you want to go ahead, I mean, you have it for now. But this is what we're going to follow.
Okay,
So
cool.
basically, what it's telling us here is, before we shut that unit down, we want to take that bottle out. And you noticed here that they gave us another bottle? Some people will do that.
And just have like a warm water bottle and a gum bottle?
Yes.
Okay.
So what you would do then is you would take this bottle and you would put warm water in it.
Right.
Okay? So just go to a sink, get hot water, fill it up, I'd say to there. Doesn't have to be filled the whole way. You're going to unscrew the gum. You're going to screw this back in. Then what you're going to do is you're going to move this setting. Do you want to actually go through it? It takes 10 minutes. But basically what it would do then is you see here you have a number. It's very important. You guys are going to be on setting 2. This has to do with the thickness of your plate. They make a 6 mil plate, an 8 mil plate, and a 12 mil plate. Number 1 is used for a 6 mil plate, 2 is used for an 8 mil plate, and 3 is used for a 12 mil plate. As a general rule, you're going to be set to the setting 2 though all the time. So regardless. Pat, I'm right in the middle of training. I saw you keep calling, but I can't talk right now, okay? Okay. Okay, is he signing it? Okay. All right. All right, talk to you later. Bye. All right. So at this point, then this runs at 2 all the time, other than when you're going to do this service maintenance. So on your sheets there, if you look at your sheet, okay, as you follow that, that'll walk you through step by step what I'm telling you. So if you look here, it'll show replace the solution with gum with the warm water like I was telling you. Then select program 4. So to do that, all you're going to do is hit this button till I go to number 4. Okay? Now you can hear it. It's getting ready to start. I'm going to shut it off. But it may still run through the cycle. What it would be doing then is running that warm water for 10 minutes. And it's cycling the rollers so the rollers are spinning at the same time. All it's doing is getting warm water put over those rollers to help get that sticky gum off, so that when you shut it down, those rollers aren't going to be stuck together when you power it back up and break gears and stuff. So that's basically all you're doing.
So,
You're replacing this one with
Yeah,
the
the gum
one. Yeah.
Right, so unscrew the gum one, and there's a
that's-
tube that hangs down, which
Yeah.
you can see it inside the bottle. You just want to make sure that that's in it. You screw it up in, because that's where the pump sucks it out of that tube up in. And all it's going to do is run for 10 minutes, then it'll shut off.
And then change the number
Yeah,
after
Sunday
screwing the
then.
warm bottle.
Yeah, after you screw in the warm water bottle, then change it to 4. And that's, if you follow this, it follows you step by step. I just wanted to show you that it's really good that way. So, and you can make copies of this if you want. But then basically it'll run for like 10 minutes. Then at that point, I would take the warm water off. I would shut the main power off down here on the printer. Remember that switch that you saw down under there? For the curing unit, they call this. And then switch this number back to number 2. And that's what these sheets basically walk you through. So just keep in mind, so on Sunday, if you decide to do it Sunday night, since that's the last you're going to use it,
Yeah.
I would do it then. I wouldn't wait till Monday. I would do it Sunday night. Just allow the extra time because it takes 10 minutes to run through that cycle.
Close like the thing where the last hour of the monitor.
Yeah.
And then it just goes.
So the bottom unit is off for 2 days per week,
Mhm.
and then this is on 24/7,
Correct.
except for cleaning time.
Correct. So Tuesday through Sunday, you'll leave that lower unit on. Yeah. And that's just because of the way your schedules work. So. All right. Any questions on that? Let me just show you, and like I said, you're welcome to make copies of any of these that I have. There is.
Are you gonna leave those? or
Well,
are
so
you gonna-
they're on the computer as well.
You have the PDFs, but if you wanted to copy these, you could. These are just the ones I use for training and stuff. I just printed them out. But you have this actually on the side. It's magnetic. So this is a maintenance schedule. And so let me just do daily. It says check and refill the finisher. So if your refinisher starts to get too low, you'll want to make sure that you get it full. Or on Monday or Tuesday when you're going to run it again, make sure that you have fresh in there half full. Okay? If that fluid gets too dark, again, you'd want to dump it and replace it with fresh.
Finisher is gone, right?
That is gum. They're calling it finisher, but it is gum. And keep in mind that's the only finisher or gum that you want to use is theirs.
So
Don't
we
use
need to
others.
have a second one just in case.
You may want to. How is that the only one you have for now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you may want to get more then. Nozzle check. They're showing weekly to do a nozzle check. You could do it that way. Me personally, I like to do it any day right when I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm going to print that day, I want to make sure it's good. And when I do inkjet color proofing and stuff as well, where they're using inkjet printers, and I tell those people to do it because they want to make sure the color's correct. And in this case, if any nozzles happen to be missing overnight, you wouldn't want your plate to be ruined. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Gum rinse with warm water. They're showing that weekly with program 4. So this is on that guide that you have. I'm just going over it with you. Check and top off the reservoir with distilled water. So keep in mind, you don't want to keep that water in there too long. Some people, I would never go beyond 2 weeks. I would say probably be best once a week, but no more than 2
We can
weeks.
do that on Sundays as well if we use
And
the last
they
hour.
recommend distilled water.
Okay.
Not everybody uses distilled water. Some people will use well water, but the reason is because of the pH in some waters and stuff
Yeah,
it can
and
affect.
any like stuff that you may have.
So
in
if
the
that's a pain
water.
for you to get the distilled water and you want to, you can try using that. But if you run into some issues, then go back to distilled
Can we
water.
use Brita water? Brita?
Oh, like Brita filtered water.
Oh,
Like we have filtered water.
you
here.
can. Hi.
Then that way we can have a jar here and then just.
You could do that, but again, if the
Distilled
pH
water
and
is
stuff,
better?
Thanks for coming down.
that's what they recommend. I'm just showing you, telling you. I have some people that they're just using well water.
Oh,
Or city
well,
water, you know,
city
so I
water is
have
better.
both. But if they run into any problems, I tell them go to distilled water.
How often do you change the gum again?
The gum, I would say, check it once a week. Like, so if it gets too dark on you, like right now you can see it's like a yellowy color here. It's lighter colored. When that starts to get really dark, we want to replace it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you can get 5 more than a week, it's going to depend on your plate usage as well as air and all hitting it because it's going to be going over those rollers and then draining back down. So. So clean the input and exit tables. So this is your input table, and this is your exit table. The reason they tell you to do that is because dust and stuff